Erdoğan wants you to stop talking about his son killing someone, and I promise that's not clickbait. I'm saying the president of Turkey, Recep Tayyip Erdoğan, has a son, Ahmet Burak Erdoğan, who has killed classical singer Sevim Tanürek in a hit and run, and Daddy Erdoğan wants everyone to stop talking about it because he worked very hard to sweep it under the rug. So let's talk about it. So little is known about Burak Erdoğan that he's been dubbed Erdoğan's ghost son. We know he doesn't live in Turkey, but we're not even sure exactly where he does live. He's a multi-millionaire businessman who owns at least 6 ships, but his companies don't even have a website. He doesn't have any presence on social media, he doesn't comment on anything publicly, even if it shakes the entire country. He was the only family member that didn't attend the swearing-in of his father when he was first elected president in 2014. He was silent about the failed coup attempt in 2016, he didn't attend his grandmother's funeral nor some of his siblings' weddings. Unlike Erdoğan's other children, who are frequently seen in the media, Burak has been a total recluse, deliberately avoiding any kind of attention. Stories, comments, and tweets that mention his name are deleted under court orders. Not gonna lie, I'm kinda concerned about this video staying up. But why did Burak become a ghost in the first place? It wasn't always like that. In 1998, still a student, Burak had his whole future ahead of him. But everything changed for him on May 11th when he was driving his mother's Opel car on Abide-i Hürriyet Street in Istanbul, when at around 11:45 am he sped through a red light, hitting Sevim Tanürek, a classical singer. According to eyewitnesses, the car dragged Tanürek for somewhere between 30 and 65 meters, then fled the scene, chased by police. Tanürek, severely injured, was rushed to the hospital. When the driver of the Opel was identified as Burak Erdoğan, Tanürek's husband Ahmet Urek was told at the police station that Burak did not have a driver's license. Later, it was reported that a fake, backdated driver's license was issued to him to make it look like he had one all along. His father, Recep Tayyip Erdoğan, was mayor of Istanbul at the time, and according to eyewitnesses, municipal workers rushed to the scene and cleaned the entire street from traces of blood and skid marks. The initial police report found Burak guilty on 3 out of 8 counts, which would have carried a sentence of up to 20 months. Unfortunately, after a week in intensive care, Tanürek would die from severe traumatic brain injury. This was bad news for Burak, as it meant he was now facing 2 to 5 years in prison. That was until a chairman at the Institute of Forensic Medicine, Eyüp Çakmak, submitted a report in which he found 100% of the fault lay on the dead woman, and based on this report, the court acquitted Burak of all charges. Now, is it possible that Çakmak saw something others didn't? Well, according to the statistics, in 1998, out of the 551,211 traffic accidents that occurred in Turkey, pedestrians were at fault in just 2.7% of them, while the driver fault rate was 96%. So, while not impossible, Çakmak's report is highly improbable.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
And of course, when Erdoğan became prime minister, he appointed Çakmak president of the Turkish Maritime Organization. Not a great look. But the abuse of power did not stop there, because the campaign of intimidation on Tanürek's family had only just begun. According to her husband, Tayyip's men were always there. While seeking justice for my wife, we faced physical threats and harassment when we said anything. When we told the judge that he didn't have a driver's license and that a fake license was issued after the accident using his father's influence, we were scolded. Are you accusing the great mayor of forgery? All the witnesses who saw the incident were threatened and intimidated. This includes a relative of ours. Families of the police officers and the traffic officers who issued the fake license came to us many times during the trial with an apology and begged that if we pursued the matter, their husbands would be fired and they would starve. Every day, municipal vehicles parked at our door and Tayyip's men confronted us. Tayyip was the mayor, and we realized that we were facing a giant and that it would be impossible to deal with him. In this situation, we had a family meeting and decided to drop the matter because there would be no result. They were just too powerful. Can we just take a pause to imagine the audacity of sending your henchmen to the home of a grieving family to threaten them? Burak Erdoğan was never detained. He never even showed up in court because he was sent to study abroad immediately after the accident. Yet, despite being acquitted and completely innocent, the Erdogans petitioned the courts to restrict access to media coverage surrounding the case, leading to the blocking of 59 reports, articles, and tweets. Even an article reporting on the restriction was itself blocked. In another case, in 2018, an opposition candidate brought up the incident during a rally saying, "Let's investigate Tanurek's murder," and a court order blocked his remarks from several news sources. As for Burak, he went to London to study economics, where as far as we know is where he may still be living. He was also exempt from obligatory military service after obtaining a medical report for an undisclosed health problem. And with his legal troubles erased by his father, Burak was free to enter the business world and build a new life of immense wealth. He co-founded multiple shipping companies that have been the subject of corruption allegations and offshore tax scandals. Then, during the recent Gaza conflict, President Erdoğan has become one of the loudest critics of Israel, calling it a terror state and calling on Allah to destroy Israel, while his son Burak continued doing business there. So you can make of that what you will. Look, accidents happen. People do reckless, even downright stupid things when they're young. But the true measure of a person, and by extension, the family that raised them, isn't whether a mistake was made, but how they confront those mistakes. Do they accept responsibility and try to make things better? Or do they run away from the country and let their father bury the evidence, silence the witnesses, and try to rewrite history? I'll end with a quote from one of the tweets that was blocked by the Turkish court. A publication ban has been imposed on the accident involving Burak Erdoğan. Does a publication ban mean that the accident never happened?